Welcome to tonight's planning board meeting. This is Monday, October 1st, 2007, and welcome to the Lowell planning board meeting. Tonight we do have one public hearing on, and we do have an acceptance of 3 sets of minutes. At this point in time, I'd request that we waive the order of agenda and go right to the public hearing for any of those persons who are here like to speak on behalf of the public hearing.
So moved. Take that matter out of order.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We do have one public hearing on this evening, and we also have received a request from the applicant to withdraw the submittal that's before us this evening. So what I'll do is I will read the advertisement for the public hearing, then I will read the letter that was addressed to myself as chairperson and to the board requesting that this matter be withdrawn. Public hearing, 4 Tadmac Street, definitive subdivision plan. The Lowell Planning Board will hold a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to an application by John Pickles Jr. for the approval of a definitive subdivision plan that includes the extension of Tadmac Street by approximately 100 feet, providing access and minimum frontage required by the zoning ordinance for the parcel of the above located street, and construction of a single-family dwelling. The site is entirely within the 100-year flood hazard zone and will require Conservation Commission approval. The applicant is seeking waivers for street design standards, drainage requirements, and curbing. The site is located within the traditional single-family zoning district. This project requires planning board approval under Lowell's subdivision of land regulations. We received the letter today, dated October 1st, addressed to myself, Attorney Thomas Linehan, chairperson, the site improvement plan for 4 Tadmac Street. Dear Mr. Linehan, this letter is to formally request a withdrawal of the recently submitted application of a definitive subdivision plan for the property located at the above address in Lowell, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 59, Book 5635, parcel number 4. Prior to the submission of the application, this office met with the members of the Department of Planning and Development and the city engineer. The applicant and design plans incorporated the recommendations of these meetings. Based on the comments offered in the various department review letters, it has been determined that the items requested in these letters are cost prohibitive and that the project no longer feasible. Therefore, we would respectfully request a withdrawal of the application without prejudice. Should you have any questions or require additional information prior to the hearing, please do not hesitate to contact this office. This is signed by Land Tech Consultants, Mr. Matthew A. Waterman. So at this point in time, I will turn the public hearing open to see if anybody is here from the applicant. Anybody here present from the applicant? Usually we have them show up because sometimes we don't always request a withdrawal. But we don't give advice. They can call and ask, but we'll go from there. So let me see if the planning board is willing to entertain the motion to let it withdraw before we go to the public hearing. If the planning board does not allow them to withdraw this matter, then we'll go to the public hearing with or without the applicant present. At this point in time, the board members want to allow them to withdraw their submittal. What appears to be reading the matter is, whenever they send a site plan to us, like they did tonight's evening, they have to give 6 copies to all the city departments, the engineering, division of planning and development, the water department, the fire department, and they all make certain recommendations to this board. And the board, we did receive a lengthy report from our division of planning development office, Mr. Adam Clausen, who's present with us this evening. His comment. We did receive comments from the law department in regards to what a paper street is and how the applicant would need the right to sign off on this road from all the adjacent abutters. We also received comments from the Conservation Committee, which said the project would have to go on their agenda, which is scheduled for September 19th. We received comments from the Board of Health, the traffic engineer, who had a few comments about the curb being installed in the sidewalk and the driveways built up, and vanna curbing. We also had comments from the Water Utility Department. We also received comments from Captain Weber of the Fire Department, and we received several comments, a 2-page letter of comments from our city engineer. I believe that's what the applicant is mentioned when they said, based on these comments, at this time, what they're requesting here, they feel it's not cost feasible to go forward. So hearing that, would the board members want to entertain first? I'll entertain whether we should allow the matter to be withdrawn without prejudice. If we do so, then the public hearing would not even start, and the matter would be no longer in front of us. Which the board requests in regards to the request to withdraw the matter.
Mr. Chairman, if we allow them to withdraw, does that mean that they can reapply at some later
Yes.
time? Is that the advantage of withdrawing rather than denial in the public
And I
hearing?
think if we deny it, they still can come back within a certain period of time.
2 years.
Within a 2-year period, if they want to come back.
Okay.
At this point in time, if they do it without prejudice, what they'd have to do is come back the same way, advertise the public hearing, they get the same city comments, and if they're saying this time it's not cost feasible, or they would come back in the future, would be up to the decision of the applicant.
And if they do reapply at some later date, we'd still have to go through all the notification process for
They'd
the
have to
neighborhood
notify
as we
all the-
have in the
Other
past.
butters will get all the comments and all the plans again, correct?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, with that, I'd like to make a motion that we allow the applicant to withdraw without prejudice.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and second. Therefore, the application has withdrawn this project. This project will not be going forward. The matter is no longer in front of us. Thank you very much for coming down tonight. Who was here to speak? That's why I wanted to take the matter out of the agenda, because we did have some other matters to take care of first. But obviously, we have people here in the public who'd rather take care of your attention before we take care of our in-house meeting. Thank you very much, and good luck. Get home on time, watch the Patriots, wish them well. Thank you. Okay. Going back to the order of the agenda, if we could go through the minutes. We have 3 sets of approval for minutes this evening. I'll take them one at a time. The first matter will be the approval of the September 5th, 2007 minutes. I know when they had them emailed to us, I had one correction, which I believe Aaron has made a change on. And that was under the Middlesex Street project. They had all 5 of us present, and in error, they had that the vote was 4-0
4-0,
instead of
yeah.
5-0.
Said that.
That has been corrected. Therefore, I have no further adjustment to the minutes. Any of the board members have any adjustments to the minutes, omissions, or anything they'd like to add? If hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the September 5th minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the September 5th, 2007 board minutes.
Motion's made.
Second?
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Board hereby accepts those minutes. Do it this second. The 6th, you have the 6th, Bill?
Yep.
The 6th, right there. Oh, I'm messing up the something.
September 20th.
Okay, yeah. And the 5th, okay. The next matter would be the approval of the September 20th meeting. I did have one correction on that, when it came down to the election of officers. It did read that the board unanimously reappointed Mr. Fischett to the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments, and it has been amended to, he did appoint Mr. Fischett. That was the only correction I had, and I think that has been changed. Any of the board members have any corrections or omissions on the minutes for 9/20?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes for September 20th.
Second?
Motion's made and hereby second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved unanimously. I got the 5th, the 20th.
6th, yeah,
Do we have the 6th in here?
yeah.
Yeah, here we go. The other one would be to approve the 6th, September 6th, 2007 minutes. I think I took this off you, Joe. I had them over here. Thanks. Anybody have any corrections for the September 6th minute?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know, or to Aaron, I don't have this with this package. Was that?
This was the one
Was
that
that
we
the
got,
prior?
we got at the last meeting, and we
Okay.
said we'd hold off for
And we
this
said we'd
meeting.
hold off. I did review those, yes.
So, I mean, we said, hold off because we got it that night.
Right.
And then,
This was emailed, so,
and then we requested it further, so. Basically, that night, we had the public hearing on Rock Street, and then we had the proposed amendment of the public hearing which we had in regards to the zoning matter. And on Rock Street, it indicates that we did approve 4-0 with 9 conditions. And I believe we saw those conditions by Division of Planning and Development the day or two after the meeting that they sent out before
Right.
they recorded with the
Right.
the city hall. Anybody have any, and then we had the pre-application stage, which was just an update on Rogers Street. Anybody have any questions in regards to those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the minutes of September 6th, 2007.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those-
Mr. Chairman, I'll abstain from that
Okay, so we have
approval since that was
4-0,
an
1
abs-
abstention. Moving along, anybody have any new business? If not, under old business, then we move down to other business. We do have the A&R report. I don't think we have any for this evening's consideration.
No, there's none tonight.
Okay, so then we have a couple of notices from abutting towns. Not much really happened in those abutting towns. At this point, I entertain a motion to file the notices in abutting towns.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
On the general correspondences, we do have 2, one being a seminar on Northeast Association Realtors, which is scheduled to be on October 18th from 10 a.m. to noon. That's in our packet, which we are invited to if anybody interested in attending that matter.
Is there, Mr. Chairman, I thought, was there a cost to attend this, or
Oh,
is
it's complimentary.
this complimentary?
I think it says that here.
Yeah, so that basically talks about your speakers, who are going to be
Yeah.
Mr. Mee from the university, Thomas Hilton, and the panel moderator, Mr. Dave Turcott, and talks about what's going on. This is from the Northeast Association of Realtors.
I think our own George Proakis as well is going to
Yeah,
be speaking.
he's on.
That's correct. He'll be back from paternity leave, I should say. I have to speak for that, yes.
Turn.
Well, we hope he's feeling well. We wish him well in his endeavors. We also have another matter, which is we're invited to the live work artist lofts at Western Ave Studios, which is on for Thursday, October 4th at 10:30 a.m. We're invited to that matter. As you know, we did vote on that on the zoning change, and they're having an open house, which is to the public that night and to the media, that morning, if anybody would like to attend that matter. So on the general correspondences, those are 2 we have in the packet. Moving along, we do have what's known as the Zoning Board of Appeals legal notices. Again, these are matters that come before the planning board for our recommendations, and these matters will be heard in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals. This is the agenda that's scheduled for October 10th, 2007, at 6:30 p.m. here in the City Council chambers. They have 3 matters on that evening, and again, we'll just recommend to the Zoning Board of Appeals on these matters. The first one being, which is a repetitive petition. The applicant is Juan Mejia, and the property is located at 868 Middlesex Street, and this is a traditional mixed use. This is a repetitive petition according to section 11.2.5 of the zoning ordinance for the alteration and partial demolition of a vacant building to a church and 4 residential units with insufficient parking as previously requested for variance denied back in January '07. We do have a copy of the applicant, his application in here, but I did not see a copy of a plan on this map.
Plans at all.
Usually we do get the plan, and what will happen is they will have a public hearing at the Zoning Board of Appeals. If it does meet the criteria for the material and substantial change, then the matter will come back to this planning board for a public hearing. If we vote there is not a substantial material change, then the matter will not survive to go back to the Zoning Board of Appeals. If we do vote there has been a change, and we allow that change to be a substantial material change, then it would go back again to the Zoning Board of Appeals for another public hearing. At this point in time, we have no plan in front of us, and usually what we like to have, which I request the applicant to do, is basically tell us what the old plan was, what the rejections were, and then come back and tell us what the new request is, and present that matter to us, and then it's up to us to say whether we feel it's a substantial change. Without having the old plan, the new plan,
Mr. Chairman, I'd recommend we take no action as far as a recommendation on this matter. Without having the plans, we cannot render an opinion as to whether we consider that there's been a substantial change in the two plans. So I recommend at this point in time, we take no action on this matter, bearing in mind if the Board of Appeals does pass it, it will come back to us for a hearing.
Second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The matter is voted that we take no action due to no plan, and the matter will come back before us if it survives the zoning board criteria for substantial change. Moving along, we have another matter, which is a special permit and variance. The applicant is Brian and Carol Maxfield, property location 84 Heritage Drive, and this is a suburban, single-family. This is to allow the construction of an addition and open deck within side yard setback according to Article 5, Section 5.1, within 50 feet of a wetland according to Section 5.2.3, and to allow the expansion of a lot with insufficient frontage according to Section 4.5.5. So this matters before us. We do have a copy of the plan, we do have a copy of a area view of
84.
the location. It appears on the, what do you have, the side yard, he's a little short. What he needs is, needs a total of 25, minimum of 10, so he has 10 on one side, 12 on the other side, so he'd be 3 feet short for the side yard. He has it now, but what he wants to do is put a proposed addition, which would be 24 feet to the left of the property if you're looking at the front door. So now he's in conforming. And then he has the proposed deck in the back. But I guess he needs construction within the, construct a 15 by 24 building addition and open deck within wetland setback. Needs a variance for the side yard, special permit,
3 feet.
and construction within 50 feet of a wetland. Aaron, do you know if we do this, would this have to go back before conservation because it's within
Well, it does.
the wetland?
I don't think so. I think it has to go to before Conservation Commission if it's in the flood zone.
Okay, but
which
the
it is
wetland, no,
not.
okay.
So I don't believe so.
Okay. You can look at the area view, so what he would want to do would be come over to the left there. And then in the back, it goes back a little bit, then it drops off pretty quick. And there's another house behind it.
Part of the issue, I think, as we've discussed in the past, is that the property appears to be in compliance with the setback requirements now, other than being short on frontage, which is probably pre-existing. But to add that proposed addition of 18 by 24 will violate the setback requirements. You could go 18 by 21 and not have a problem with that. As far as the back deck is concerned, it looks like, to me, it's 13 feet to the edge of the wetland, and I think they're required to have 50, so that's pretty close.
Yeah, he is 13.5, correct.
So the, Mr. Chairman, the requirement on distance from the wetland is 50 feet. Is that right, Aaron?
Yes.
So, I mean, the house itself is within 50 feet
Yeah, it's half that,
of
25.
the wetland, right?
Yeah, so most likely he must have got a variance, I think.
It's a special permit.
Usually they ask if he's ever applied for one, he says no. I think, usually on the,
Yeah, have you applied for it?
yeah, so I don't know how he got that in there, because I can remember when we allowed this whole subdivision. 'Cause this whole subdivision isn't that old.
Yeah,
There may have been a change, too, in the setback for the wetlands, too, from the time it was built.
Yeah,
to
that
the
could have been
current
what
time.
happened, yeah. It could have been under the new zoning, because I think we've upped the new zoning 2 or 3 times in the last few years. Maybe that's what brought it about.
Mr. Chairman, the side yard encroachment is 3 feet, which isn't a tremendous amount, but the other thing is that the house on that side is, looks to be, probably a good 30 to 40 feet away because of the positioning of the house on the lot. So probably, in my opinion, isn't terribly, it doesn't encroach terribly on that person's property. It's highly dependent on how they feel about it, right? How the
Yeah,
butter
I would
feels
say his
about it. and
biggest
that.
opposition would be when it goes to the zoning board of appeals, how the neighbor feels. I was out there looking at it yesterday about noon time. The 3 feet coming over, if you can see on the plan, it does mention there's a stone wall and there's some trees there. And then as you notice, the neighbor's property goes way back with the aerial view, which is true. He goes way back, so it's more when the line goes all the way back. It's not gonna be like a butted house to house, side by side, so the other one is way far
close,
back. So it wouldn't be as if you look out your side house window and see the house right there. But
Right.
obviously, he does have the tree line, the stone wall there, so that's a little bit of a buffer zone, and it'd only be off by 2 feet on that side. Again, I don't know how the applicant would feel. At least his driveway is on the other side of his lot, and the owner here, his driveway is to the right of his lot. So he does meet the criteria on the right side of the project. The more concerning is, I think, the wetlands in the back, where he's off a lot more than just the 3 feet on the side yard.
True. It's not like he's digging a foundation or anything there, though, right?
That's
So,
the proposed deck, so.
yeah, I don't know,
Above ground.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what impact, a deck being, 13 and a half feet from the wetland would have on anything.
Yeah, it
It's
does-
56 feet off of the
Nothing really, is
river,
it?
yeah,
And really, there's no one really that real close to him in the back of the house.
right.
It does slope down, then it goes out a little ways, and then there's a bunch of tree line, and if you look, you can see a house back there, but it's really kind of broken up with the tree line behind there. I mean, I think the main concern would be his neighbor to his left, what his feelings are, and whether he's in agreement or not. I think the zoning board of appeals would obviously listen to what the neighborhood would have to say, especially the neighbor to his left. That's the one who's gonna be impacted the most. I don't think the back would really impact either one of the neighbors, whereas the way you look at it, if he puts that addition on, you really won't even see it too much from the street looking back. You'd have to see that proposed deck on that tough angle, really, because you're not, it's gonna be right in the middle of the house, so if you're looking from side to side, it's not gonna be much of a major concern. So I think it would come down to the 3 feet to the left, which would be his neighbor on his left side.
I'd be inclined to say, without any input from the neighbor, I'd be inclined to suggest that we take no action on this as well, and let the zoning board, make that ruling based on the reaction of the neighborhood. So I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I'll
that
second
we,
that motion. That makes sense.
That we take no action.
Take no-
Can I just add for discussion, if we say, we'll take no action due to the fact we have no input from the neighbor, and that way the board will know basically that our concerns were what the neighborhood was to his left?
I
Yeah,
think that makes sense.
Okay?
And that
That
will-
way, if the neighbor shows up and he says, I don't want it, then the zoning board of appeals is gonna think that the planning board had the same concern, they want to hear what that neighbor said. And then obviously, if the neighbor shows up and says, or he has a letter from him saying, I have no objection, then obviously the zoning board of appeals will get our recommendation and do what they like with our recommendation, but no, our concern was basically the neighbor there who's gonna be impacted the most. So if we could put down no action until, due concerns, we have no input from the neighbor.
I think that'd be fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we could, if you accept that amendment, Steve, we could have that motion as amended. You understand that, Aaron? Yep, no, actually, this time, due to the fact we have no input from the neighbor to the left, where the variance would impact the most, which would be to the left. So, motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Moving along, the last matter we have on is a variance. This is from Paul and Catherine Norman. Property located at 221/223 Baldwin Street, and this is in a SSF suburban single family. To extend the dimensions of the existing front porch within front yard setbacks as required by Article 5, Section 5.1 of the zoning ordinance. We do have a plan on this matter. As indicated, it's in a single-family residence, and it's a two-family. Because as it reads, 221, 223 Baldwin Street. I was up there yesterday looking at it. Basically, they need a total of 10,000 square feet. They have 5,846, so they need another 4,154. The minimum frontage is 75, they have 80. The minimum front yard, it says required is 17. They don't have 17 now, because they have 16.4. So they're short the front, and if we give them the front yard where they want to put in, I believe they call it the farmer's porch, which would impact both both doorways, then they're gonna go from 8 up to 8.4, so they'll come a lot closer to the street. So they're non-conforming now with the front yard. They want to make it more conforming. They're non-conforming with the minimum side yard. They need a sum of 25 and 10 of each side. Right now, he has 14 on one and 7.3 on the other. So he would need 0.3 feet to the right, and you need 2.7 to the left. Minimum rear yard needs requirement of 25. He has 19.5, so relief sod is 5.5. So he has a two-family house in a single-family yard where he doesn't have the lot requirement, the front yard requirement, the minimum side yard requirement, and the minimum rear yard requirement. And he's requesting that we give him an existing non-conforming to make it more non-conforming.
Mr. Chairman, there's another, I'd just like to point out, on each side of the house, there's a very small parking area that's asphalted there, and it's not shown on the plan. And whether the porch impacts that or not, you can't tell, so.
Yeah. I know he had parking to the right for number
Yeah, and there's one on the left, too.
220, yeah, and then he had the 220, actually
Right.
221's on the right, 223's on the left.
Right.
Most of the houses up there aren't as close to the front yard that he's gonna have. What he has now is kinda consistent with some, but if he brings it a lot closer forward, I think there was only one other house that was kinda close to that. I don't believe that was a two-family.
It's a very small lot to be adding on to a two-family
Yeah, I
dwelling.
don't think
I would recommend a denial of this
I will second that.
variance.
Motion's made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes for denial. That concludes the zoning board of appeals notices. Any other comments from planning board members? Hearing none, I'll take the motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved. Tommy,
Motion made and second.
I cannot make it on the 15th.
Okay.
Said that the last time, but I want to make sure.
We are hereby adjourned. Good night, and thank you very much, everybody.